Hello everyone and welcome back to another math video. Today we're going to be looking at how do you find values using a function graph. So they give you a graph and how do you sort of read the values on it. Just a reminder, this is the full length lesson of this video, so we're going to go step by step with a bunch of examples. If you'd like the shorter version where we just cover the main ideas, I will link that in the description below. Before attempting this lesson, you should already know how to graph points. And here we go. Okay. So it says plot the point on this function with a y value of 3. So they're telling you when y, and remember this is the y-axis, this is the x-axis, when the y value is 3, which is here, they want to know what is the x value on the line. So you can sort of just connect them, and the answer is 6, right? So when I put in 6, I get 3 for the y. Or reverse that, right? When I put in 3 for the y, I get 6 for the x. All right, here's our cool clock for today, which means that it's time for you to practice what you just learned. Go ahead and pause the video and try these two problems on your own. And when you're ready, you can unpause the video and we'll check your answers. Okay, now that you've had time to work these problems, let's check your solutions. For the first problem, you should have gotten x equals 5. And for the second problem, hopefully you were reading carefully because they switched up on you. They said the x value of 4. Okay, the other one was a y value. This one says the x value is 4, so you start at 4 and you connect to your line, and the answer is 0. Okay, because this is hitting 4, 0. All right, we got a funky looking graph here. And for this one, it says what input of this function has an output of 5. And so when we're talking about functions, input just means the x value, and the output is the y values. So this is just like the previous problem. It's saying what is the x value when y equals 3? And so you go on the y-axis, you find 3, you connect to your funky looking graph, and the answer is 6. Okay? So the input is 6, the output is 3. And this is always true of functions. X is the input, y is the output. All right, it's time to practice what we just learned. Go ahead and pause the video and try these two problems on your own. And when you're ready, you can unpause the video and we'll check your answers. Okay, now that you've had time to work these problems, let's check your solutions. Okay, for the first problem, you should have gotten the same answer as our example. You should have gotten 6. And for the second problem, once again, hopefully you read it carefully because they switch it on you. So in this case, they switch the output and input. So the input is -10. So you know the x is -10, which means your output was 5. Okay, so two new things with this graph. First off, you'll notice that it says solutions. So there's more than one right answer, and you can see that there's 3 boxes here. But secondly, we've got this sort of weird notation, g parentheses x equals 2. Now, all we need to know here is g of x equals 2. G is the name of the function, all right? So this is function g. Say hello, okay? X, we already talked about this, is the input, and then equals, this is the output, okay? And so we already said, output is the y values. So in this case, they don't tell me what the x is, right? But they do tell me what the output is. So it's saying when y is 2, what is the input? And inputs, actually, because remember, there's multiple answers. So let's look at an y value of 2. So when y equals 2, where do we hit this graph? Well, we hit it here, we hit it here, and we hit it here. Right? So 3 answers. Let's work from left to right. This answer is -10. This answer is -2. And this answer is +8. All right? So 3 different answers for this graph. When does this graph have an output of 2? There are 3 different points. All right, it's time to practice what we just learned. Go ahead and pause the video and try these 2 problems on your own. And when you're ready, you can unpause the video and we'll check your answers. Okay, now that you've had time to work these problems, let's check your solutions. So for the first problem, there are two solutions. We should have gotten -8 and +9. Again, the problem says find the solutions when g of x equals 0 or when y equals 0. So another way of looking at this is, if we were to make these coordinates, this would be -8, 0, this would be 9, 0, right? And this is where the y values are 0, these two numbers, -8, +9. And for the last problem for today, again, they switched it up on you. G parentheses -4. Remember, the number in the parentheses is the x. So here they're saying my x is -4. What is my y value? What is my output? And so the answer should have been +2. All right, that is it for today. I hope you all have a good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night.